prioritizing our energy, making sure we're protecting ourselves, making sure we protect what we need and don't feel rushed. It's funny, I just got a poster from Target that was like, do what you need to be okay. And I just hung it in my bathroom because I was like, yes, I need a daily reminder when I'm naked in the bathroom looking in the mirror, like, do what I need to be okay. So there's that for affirmations. Okay. Hi. Welcome back. This is pre-therapy, where the therapy isn't real therapy per se, but
I'm a real therapist.
I'm your life therapist or life coach, spiritual guide, whatever you want to call me. I'm just someone who has, life that I've lived for 26 years. Anyway, so today for me has been a whole hell of a day. I know it's been a day for you. So let's just do a check-in. Let's do a check-in.
Yeah. Do you want to
So
go
you're
first?
on vacation with a toddler.
Yes. And a 10-year-old. Yeah. We have Anthony's son with us too. So luckily, like I said on the video I posted the other day, like somehow it worked out for us not to take the dogs, which was very helpful.
Yes.
But it has still been very stressful. We're in Florida. We had it all planned out. We were going to like camp road trip around and like started in like Bradenton Beach and like Mayaka National or State Park and then head up to Ocala and then go to like Destin and Panama City. But for some reason, I didn't realize that there was a hurricane. But also
y'all didn't
like
look at the weather like at all.
Well, we booked a month out, and so what are you really gonna do? So it is what it is. Like it was a tropical storm, obviously, and turned into a hurricane. But so we were able to stay the first 3 nights at the campground that we stayed in there, in Sarasota, around Sarasota. But we got like that morning we were checking out. They're like, we're evacuating at 8, so you guys can spend the night, but you're gonna need to be gone by 8. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. At least we don't have to find another place to park tonight. But like, I will say, like, this vacation, it's just so hard because, when you need a good vacation and it seems like there's just stuff going on and you're trying to look at the positive and look at the positive. And every day I've been able to do that and it's worked out. But today it was just like, ugh. But yeah, we got there, and then that first campground was primitive, and we didn't plan on being primitive because we wanted at least to have like some airflow, like a fan or something to like plug in, since it's Florida and it's hot as hell down here. It's not as bad as it has been when we went, but
oh yeah.
but so anyway, so now the last 2 reservations are canceled. So that means we have to find a hotel or another campsite or hope that the evacuations are like taken care of in the next couple of days. So we're spending the night at a hotel right now. So but yeah, it's kind of been nice because I feel like this is kind of an adjustment on my expectations for the trip and just reminding me to like just try to just pick out the positives and go with the flow. And that's been a hard thing for me my whole life. And I've, continued to try to work on that. But it was just like, so now we're like in Florida and we have the night tonight, but trying to figure out where we're going to go tomorrow and not ready to go back home because we're trying to salvage the 10-hour drive down here. So that's kind of annoying. But, I woke up today. So we're stuck in the hotel room because of the flooding and the rain. It's finally like cleared up now. But like, I was just like, I woke up and I was just like, oh my gosh, like really, like, why do I have to, like, we booked a nice trip that was supposed to be like nice weather and that we were going to come down here and have all this fun. And luckily we were able to really make, the most of it the last couple of days. But today I'm just like, you know what? But maybe this is supposed to be like a relaxing day where we just sit down and be inside, just kind of be cool, watch some movies, get some good food, like, just kind of just hang out and kind of regroup. And I kind of forget that we need those moments in our life, and that it's
Right.
okay to have those moments of
Right.
decompression, regrouping in our life. And I think, and so I know we all get there. And so I really wanted to share kind of like how I got myself out of that mood, because that's a big new thing for me. That instead of laying in bed, even though I did allowed myself to lay in bed till probably about like 12 or 1, which is really not that bad. But for me, it means I wasn't productive for that amount of time. But for some reason, I didn't want to leave the bed. So I allowed myself to be in that kind of like mood, I guess,
No,
And
you're absolutely right. I have an issue too with doing that, like feeling like I always have to feel productive. Like,
yeah.
I'm so sorry. She just stood again without touching anything for a second, and then she started losing her balance and turned away. Okay. Also, everyone watching, don't cut that out. I'm like, real life have a 6-month-old who is way more active, I swear, than regular 6 months olds, or maybe it's just me being a first time mom that I'm just like, you're moving so much.
Yeah.
And you know what? Real life mom stuff. If you see her, say hey Zora. She needs mommy a lot right now because we're teething, and she just woke up from a nap. We didn't time this as best as we could have, perhaps. But you know what? She's in a space where she needs to be held right now, and that's what's happening. So thanks for watching, and all the moms. I feel you. I'm here with you. I know a lot of you had babies from the pandemic last year, around the time of the pandemic. So we are all having babies around this same time and feeling each other's pain of, oh my God, they move so much more the bigger they get. And screams if I am not physically near her right this very second. So
Yeah. Moana definitely went through that. But I think, what I did this morning was, just tried to go out and like, I was like, well, I want food. What had really made me upset out of everything that I experienced at the hotel yesterday, trying to get checked in, like I was just so overwhelmed. Like we tried to find a last minute booking. We found something that had a pool, like it was 2 double beds, and they updated us upgraded us to a queen. And so that was cool. But then when they get to the payment part, they're like, and this lady was just really rude to me. And it was just kind of frustrating because I had already, just again, people rude without understanding what people are going through. And me trying to figure out where is my family going to stay for the night, and she was just being rude. And she was just trying to talk to me about like, well, Priceline sends us a card so we don't see your private information on your credit card, and that was being declined. I'm like, well, they already took it out of my account. It's like pending. So like, I'm not going to pay again. And she was like, well, I'm going to need you to call Priceline and figure this out. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, dude, that's not my responsibility. Like
it's not like it's not your business.
No. Just because you two can't communicate, I did my thing. This should be working. It's not my fault that it's not working. I'm already having to deal with a lot, So then, of course, the lady didn't share anything about the hotel with me. I had to read it in the brochure. And then apparently they had free hot breakfast, and we missed it this morning. We woke up at like 9, and it ended at 9. And I'm just like, are you
that's so
kidding
early.
me? I know. And I know they do it because they don't want anybody to show up and actually like eat the hot breakfast. So then they have to make less and then spend less money, And so just the whole principle of everything. And the fact that like I just like left yesterday, like the lady, I went back to tell her like, hey, I called Priceline. They told me they've been trying to call, you're not answering. And she's like, well, it's been kind of busy. And I was like, okay, but you told me to do this and I did this. You're not answering to follow through on your end, which I am not in control of. So I'm letting you know. They said they're going to call back in 20 minutes. Well, before I even got to tell her this information, I was like, there was one person in line, she helped them. The person in front of me, she helped them. Then 2 people in between that time walked in, and she helped them first before me. And she's like, oh, sorry, he just needs a card. And I was like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. You just need to give him his card. And then he's like, well, actually, I need to order food. So she proceeds to take his long ass food order and puts it in, like calls customer service or calls the cook or chef or whatever to put in the order. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm sitting here waiting just to tell her they're going to call back in 20 minutes. And then she cuts me off before I could even tell her that when I get up to her. And she says, it's been declined again. You need to figure this out. And I said, if you give me a minute to tell you what I have to tell you instead of just assuming and cutting me off. So then when I missed breakfast this morning, it's almost like that last straw. The thing, like, it wasn't even about breakfast. But I woke up.
Yeah.
I knew I was in a bad mood. I hated that because, you know, I've been in such a good mood lately and able to maintain it that I just haven't gotten in a mood like that. And it's bound to happen. Those lapses in us, like, working on ourselves and those things that trigger us back into those old habits of sulking and just, okay, you're allowed to be in your feelings. I was allowed to feel upset this morning, but I knew if I didn't want to have a bad day, I had to choose to do something different. So I ended up getting up. I like, you know, got up, calmed myself down. Like, you know, I was able to just kind of get in a different headspace. I went out, put on some good music. I went and got some good food. And then along the way, I was like feeling, you know, anxious this morning because of the money situation. So all of these situations popping up, like my money, like, you know, issues that, like, I just always feel like I'm in that scarcity that I've explained along this way. And then when you're taking a vacation, when you don't have a job to go back to, you're like worried about, like, where are these things going to come from? And, like, you know, you want to have a vacation now, but, like, you know, what, you have to have money to, like, do those things. So, you know, I really sat and, like, and just talked myself through it. And I think that was a big thing of what helped, of, like, you're feeling uncomfortable right now. Like, I get that. Like, you let yourself sit in your emotions this morning, but look at you. You chose to get up. You chose to get out of the room. You chose to go do something different. And now I'm sitting there just talking to myself out loud, because honestly, that's the best thing when I need to be alone, and I'll just talk to myself, and I'm just like really talking myself through it. And I kind of know how to do that, you know, being a therapist. But, like, what it looked like was, you know, for those of you who don't know how to really talk yourself through it, is like, you know, it really sucks that I came down here. We paid money and we want to go play in the beach and disc golfing and do all these fun things outside, and go kayaking and do all these things outside that require sun and not hurricane, wind, and rain. And you're feeling upset that you don't get to do those things. But you know what? You got to do those things yesterday. Maybe you just need a break today. You are tired. Like, you need to rejuvenate yourself. Like, let's do some things inside with your family, and you can connect with them there. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be a really lovely day. Like, my day could still just go as well, even if it wasn't what I wanted to do today. But again, it has to be me choosing how to handle it differently. So, you know, what a big thing of what helps me get into a better mood is I have a playlist of, like, it's labeled like happy vibes, and it's like this nice EDM music, but it's got like this upbeat, and there's like the songs that I really love the lyrics. They just, like, make me feel some type of way. And that's what we do when we feel sad or angry. We listen to those music that like increases those moods. But what if you listen to some music that got you out of those moods, you know? What if we took time to do that? And then, so along with me rethinking my thoughts, kind of reframing things in my head, like looking at it in a positive more than a negative. Because even though it gets exhausting to look at the positive, look at the positive, look at the positive, but really, you know, if you let yourself just be upset, that, like, that is exhausting. But then you kind of remind yourself why you're doing that. Sometimes it gets easier to continue doing that after a break, you know? So I think I was, like, able to kind of, like, realize, like, you have vacation time you got paid out for. Like, you have all these things, you have money, it's fine. So instead of allowing myself to feel bad about paying a little bit more money for lunch today, I actually went ahead and spent more money. Like, I went Anthony and Kai and Moana lunch, even though they had food at the hotel. So I went ahead and bought them food, even though, you know, they didn't want me to have to spend more money on food and stuff. And I was like, you know what? It's like $30. That's fine. And then I bought him and I, you know, a couple beers at the gas station. And when I was at the gas station, I like felt to like say something really kind to the cashier, and I like never buy lottery tickets, but I was feeling like really like I'm supposed to buy a lottery ticket, which wasn't anything. It didn't come up as a win or anything. But the fact that I felt it made me realize like I'm an adult, continuing to really remind myself I'm an adult. I can choose what I want. I shouldn't
Right.
listen to what my mom wants for my money. I should listen to what I want for my money. So if I want to buy a lottery ticket and it's nothing, it's fine. If I feel moved to do that, I'm going to.
Right.
If I want to go buy some lunch for myself, I will. If I want to buy something for myself, like it's really not that big of a deal. So like, why should I not just go ahead and do it? And I
Yeah.
felt again just like happy of allowing like that, just allowing myself. And so I, really want to encourage people like allow yourself to do those things that
Right.
would make you happy, but you're guilt tripping yourself for, you're feeling shameful for. Like as long as they're not maladaptive things that harm you, there's no reason that you can't do them.
Right. Right.
Means like you choose to stay home for the day, or you choose to go out, you choose to not eat because you're not feeling hungry, or you choose to eat a lot because you felt really hungry that day. Like you go through what you feel like you need and what you want and balance those, and you'll be just fine.
And and a couple things with that is that like, so in terms of feeling like you're worthy of spending money, or you're worthy of taking a vacation or anything like that, like that comes down to us from a space of self-love. I think also like the prioritizing being productive versus the prioritizing your self-care and taking rest days, which are just as important as productivity, but having an inability to put productivity second to your self-care, your rest, and getting something done. That all I think circles back down to self-love. Like if you think like if you're so caught up in being overproductive, you're more caught up in thinking about like what others think about you in terms of like, oh, if I don't work enough or make enough money, like there's something with your like like you feel like you're not worthy of things, or like you're not worthy of that. And then if you feel like you're not productive enough, it also like is like, okay, well, if I don't run a mile today, then I don't deserve a chocolate bar. If I am choosing to take time off of work, even though I have money that I could spend and I have budgeted correctly, I feel guilty about spending money because and that circles back and circles back. But self-love is an active choice. Just like trusting other people and loving other people, like it is a feeling, but a lot of the time for yourself, when it's harder to love yourself in the beginning, it's a choice that will turn into a feeling, but it won't turn into a feeling until you've done it long enough. And so and just because it has turned into a feeling and a habit, like it has to be a habit first, right? So you have to practice the things, reframing your mindset, looking in the mirror, telling yourself you're beautiful, telling yourself, oh, I deserve this day, telling yourself it's okay to spend money. The more you do that, the more you create a habit.
Or affirmation.
You have to do something that's like 30 or 60 days or something like that for it to become habitual. So you have to do it every day diligently for it to become habitual. But habitual has to go on for a little while before it becomes just an automatic, and then it becomes subconscious over time. But if you have to heal the parts of you that don't really like, you have to heal alongside of the habits, because you can habitually tell yourself, no, I love myself, and if you don't feel it, it's not going to become a feeling. You're not doing the work to heal those parts of you. You have to do both at the same time in order to get there. And the thing is, to take it on an energetic and spiritual side, what you think, what you tell yourself, those little thoughts, those little actions, life is not built on major, large things. Life is built around small, tiny actions. Okay. The things that you say to yourself in the mirror, the morning affirmations, the way you choose to consciously breathe, the way that you choose to, like, every small thought when you have awareness of it, you can correct it. And if you correct it every time, you're aware of how much. Like if you're becoming aware, you start to become aware of how much you have this negative mindset. And it's like you don't even realize it because it's subconscious. But the thing about it is that your subconscious level mindset may not even match or meet your conscious level mindset. So you may consciously say, "Oh, I love myself." Like, yeah, of course I do. But if you subconsciously don't heal your inner child and feel that shit, you're not true. Like, you're not gonna manifest it, right? So feelings, if you're manifesting something energetically, you have to feel it so hard that you are energetically pulling things into you, right? So if you practice and you get into the energetic field of self-love, the more that you choose to self-love and the more you choose to habitually work on that and get better with that, the more you're attracting that to you. The more, so it's just like the more you put out good and choose to see good in the world, like you should acknowledge and see both good and bad. So step back from your life and see the yin and the yang, see the dark and the light, because both are always existing at the same time. You will never not have something bad going on, because there has to be good to bad and bad to good. One is not there without the other. That's the laws of the universe. So if you can sit back and you can say, okay, I'm examining my life right now. And I'm examining, okay, these are the good things and these are the bad things. And it's not just like choosing to focus on the good, because you need to also acknowledge the bad, but it's what you ruminate in, what you allow your perception to focus on. Because what you focus on in life is what you attract. So if you focus on, oh, I'm constantly in pain, or I'm constant, like, if you have constant pain of some kind, if you are constantly thinking about how anxious you are, if you're constantly worried about money and stuff like that, if you're constantly worried about your health, none of that's going to change. She's yelling, "Hey!" and hitting my leg. That's so sad.
But you're right, because
so you have to attract it, like, because if you live in the mindset, like, I mean, it's one thing if you're not making healthy and wise decisions with money, but like if you are making good decisions with money and you are being smart with your money, but also like you feel like you can't you feel like you can't spend any money, you can't treat yourself, like that's a whole nother issue. And if you're living in that survivalistic mindset where money is obsolete and money is this thing that's impossible for me to have, and I'm always going to feel broke, like, am I ever going to not feel like this? That's not going to change. In order to manifest something, you have to believe that it's going to happen. It's not for you necessarily right this second to have to figure out how. So it's like, I said to you the other day, like, we should go to Bali next year. Neither of us have jobs, dude. Neither of us have any fucking money. Neither of us are in a position really to even think about planning a trip to Bali. But follow your intuition, follow your saying. I am manifesting this and saying it's going to happen. I'm going to plan it. I'm going to create a Pinterest board. I'm going to research places. I'm going to believe it so hard in my mind that it's going to work out, that it does. And that we can get into this maybe in another episode, but manifestation, like, I have manifested a lot of things in my life, intentionally and unintentionally, but focusing on them so hard, or subconsciously focusing on them so hard, because it can be a subconscious manifestation. It's that's why you have to be aware of your subconscious thoughts. Like, it's so real, and whether you think that you're within your power to do that or not, whether or not you believe even it's real, like you are manifesting certain things because of your energy. Now, if you consciously understand and accept the reality and can really feel it and harness that energy, you can manifest more and better. But like I said, if you're so focused so intensely that you're constantly having a bad day, every day is a bad day, sit back and examine why am I feeling like this? Like, what am I doing
Being
in my
more
life that is
mindful.
bringing this in? Yeah, be more mindful and bring more awareness into what you are doing. But I'm proud of you. It sounds like, you know what, you took a step back, you
Yeah.
allowed yourself to not get caught up in a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
You allowed yourself to have rest, which your body and mind needed. You
Yeah.
allowed yourself to do that, and then you chose, you know what, I'm not going to get caught up in my bad feelings. I am specifically and intentionally deciding, okay, I am going to, get myself in a different place because I would
Yeah.
like to be in a different place. And so I'm going to be in a different place. So I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, it's just really cool to like realize because I've been practicing this for years. And for
Yeah.
until
It
recently,
takes a
I
long
haven't
time.
actively tried to do something about it. Like I
Yeah.
just assumed like if I was having, I was just going to be like, oh, it's just one of those days. Like we all have bad
Right.
days, and I just accepted it for what it was. But as I've practiced being
But
more
you can
mindful
change
and
it.
stuff, like I've tried to realize that I have the power to control it because I
Right.
continue to tell all my clients that like, you have all these things that happen to you, but you
Mm-hmm.
have control over one thing and one thing only, which is you. And that's the
Yes.
only thing that you deserve to
Yes.
stress and worry about in some situations,
Right.
because everything else is really gonna just work its way out the way it needs to. Like those things in the outside world, you can't control. You can control
Right.
yourself and
Yeah.
how you maybe the things you do that alter
Mm-hmm.
those outside things, but really that comes back to you. But a
Right.
big part of like, like you said, just recognizing the bad and the good. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times in meditations and stuff like that and mindfulness practices, they tell you to like just practice looking at your thoughts, like noticing them when they
Just seeing what's happening. Yeah.
yeah. And so like when you're in a mindfulness place and you're like you're meditating, they say
Mm-hmm.
like, in school they always told me like, when you have a negative thought, instead of fighting it like you would a
Mm-hmm.
bear, you just kind of
Mm-hmm.
shoo it away like a fly. And so like
Mm-hmm.
you just like you recognize it, you appreciate it for what it is. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's like really hard to say you would appreciate bad things, but you just recognize it. You recognize it for what it
Right.
is. You realize
Well,
it's there. Like if you
mm-hmm.
can't do anything about it, you just have to be okay with where it is, and then just say, you know what, that's not what
Mm-hmm.
I'm choosing to think about right now.
Right.
I'm going to just push it aside. And then when it pops up again, do it the same. And you have to keep practicing those things, and it kind of gets back to what you said earlier about the
Mm-hmm.
small. It really is
Right.
true. So when I develop a treatment plan with somebody, which is like
Mm-hmm.
your goals for therapy, so you have long term range goals and short term range goals. So like
Mm-hmm.
for long term, for example, would be like for me right now, I can't say for anybody else, but for me as an example would be like working on my self love, body image,
Mm-hmm.
how I see myself, how I react to things in the world. I know those are
Right.
multiple long term goals, like because
Right.
they're each different things, but they're all still kind of connected in this large thing. Well, okay, so that's great. I know what I want to do with all of these things, but then that's where we get overwhelmed by
Right.
these large concepts of things that we have to work through, and you have to realize, well, what does that mean? You have to like take parts of it, like you have to conceptualize what the problem is and what you need to do about it. You need to figure out and prioritize what is first for you. And like you
Right.
said, mine is my self-care right now, and
Mm-hmm.
then prioritizing everything else after that,
Right.
and so you have to kind of restructure yourself, and then you have to focus on the short-term goals. So
Right.
okay, great, you know what you want to accomplish in the long term. Like those things are very like, it could take me a year to like be okay with how I look or something like that, and be
Yeah.
honestly just feel like I don't care what anybody thinks about me, even myself, because right now sometimes I'm the biggest critic of my body or how I
Mm-hmm.
look or how I talk, or judging myself for
Right.
how I think I should be versus just being how I am. So
Right.
my short-term goal could look like something like what helps you get through the healing and
Mm-hmm.
the action stages to make progress towards your long-term goals. So like,
Right.
something for me that would work on like, maybe my body image is doing
Mm-hmm.
mirror work, like looking at myself in the mirror and like really truly allowing
Right.
myself to see both my things that make me beautiful and then my things that are just not perfect about myself, which is we all have imperfections about ourselves. Except
Mhm.
to like not we're told not to like see those things as beautiful too. So
Right.
I have had to
Right.
reframe how I see myself. And if I see something I don't like, I have to figure out a way to love it anyway,
You
to
know what?
realize of my imperfections.
I
And
and you yeah. Sorry to cut you off. Continue.
oh, well, yeah, just real quick. And so, but then, you know, so that might be like me talking to myself in the mirror once a day. That is a
Mhm.
short term goal. Me taking a walk once a day if I feel like I'm not to where I can go to the gym once a day.
Right. Right.
To be like that. Whatever is attainable. A goal should
Mhm.
be measurable. Like, how many times are you going to do it a week or a
Yes.
day? Is it
Right.
attainable? Is it where you are right now and where you are capable of doing? Because I might not be able to go exercise once a day. It might be once a week. And if that's where I'm
Right.
at right now, at least that is
That's
better than nothing.
okay.
Short-term goal towards that. So I'm still making progress, even if it doesn't happen, you know? It and
Right.
for me, those short-term goals for other people might be like a diet. But really, honestly, diets don't work for me because that's telling me my body and
Mhm.
like those things that like I can't have those things because of this. And all
Right.
these things I tie to my worthiness. But like how do I like continue to find short-term goals? And a short-term goal could be anything that is short term to help you work on your goal. It could be like calling a
Right.
support person. It could be like,
Yes.
making
Yes.
one healthy meal a day at least. It could
Right.
be more water. It could be, watching inspirational videos that help you get into a healthier mindset. All these
Yeah.
things. But a big part of like where I'm at right now, prioritizing things is kind of going back to what you said, what we were talking about earlier, and
Mhm.
healing my inner child.
Yes.
I heard our mom say the other day, like, I need to go home and do stuff because she's like, I can't just sit around all day.
Can't
Like,
just not.
that doesn't
Yeah.
feel good about myself when I do that. And like,
Right.
you
Like.
decide what's right for you. But I need to
Mhm.
step out of what we were taught as a child and realize, like,
Right.
I am not like my worthiness is not tied to my productivity. It's not
Yes.
tied to where I achieve anything for the day. It is not. I decide that. I'm an adult. I'm
Right.
stepping outside what was taught as a child by my peers, by my parents, by things that I picked up through trauma.
Mhm.
Rewriting my script right now. Do I find being productive all day long without having any break a goal of mine? No, not anymore. I was told to
Right.
have that goal, but I'm setting that down. So that kind of ties back into like, you know, today why I'm struggling. I'm struggling
Yeah.
because my child has been told it is bad. You should be ashamed of sitting down, having even on vacation. I've always said like if I'm on
Yeah.
vacation, I need to be seeing things. I need to be going and doing things. I'm
Right.
here. Why am I not doing
Right.
something
You
in this
want to get the
area?
most of everything. You want to be the most right.
That
You know what?
exactly,
It's
but
like
it doesn't have to be that way.
you don't have to be so efficient with everything all the time. And you like I think that some of the best like so I went to Thailand, at the end of 2019 right before the pandemic,
Right.
and we were there for 2 weeks and it was amazing. I did see so much and I did do so much.
Yeah.
But there was a couple times where the people that I was with, they're like, okay, well, we're going to go to this market or we're going to go do this. And I knew, I said, I can't, I'm going to
Yeah.
stay back because I need a nap
Yes.
or I need to do some yoga or I need to
Yes.
like spend time with myself and be alone because,
Yes.
it's great. And I do want to do those things and I do want to spend time with you guys, but
Right.
also I need this for myself because,
Right.
I'm focused on what my body needs and
Right.
what I need right now. And like the other thing, like not just, the productivity, but those are like, I was
Yeah.
thinking of that in terms of also like rules that we set for ourselves that don't need to
Yes.
exist. Like rules of like, okay, like I need to be a certain level of productive in order to feel
Yeah.
like I my day was worth something and I didn't
Yeah.
waste a day. No, a day is never wasted. It doesn't matter what you get done.
Yeah.
And honestly, like all these rules that we set for ourselves of what we can and can't do, like we make those rules in our lives. No
Yeah.
one, we weren't the humans weren't brought into this universe to have
Yeah.
all of these rules. Like, I mean, yes, follow the law, don't kill people and stuff like that, but
Right.
also like the rules of like what you are allowed to eat, where you're allowed to go, how much money you
Yeah.
think that you're going to make in life. You know, oh no, I can't do that because, you know, that's not attainable for me. All of these rules that you have set for yourself, you're making those. No one
Yeah.
else is making those for you.
It's like
Who
the
says
little
you have
engine that
to?
could. If you can't, if you're
Right.
saying I can't, those are the
Exactly.
affirmations and the energy you're
Exactly.
putting in. But if you're saying I can, you know,
Right.
just
Right.
just
And
to throw it back
honestly,
to childhood, you know.
right. And in terms of like what you can eat or what you can't eat and all of those things, like diets have been scientifically shown to not work unless you are doing them for life.
Yeah.
It has to be a lifestyle change in order to get something. So maybe you go on this quick fasting diet and you lose water weight, or you juice for a cup a week and you lose 15 pounds water. It's going to come back. It's
Right.
going to come back. Anything that's going to be a long-term fix
Yeah.
for your health is going to be a lifestyle change. That
Right.
doesn't just include eating or exercising and being well within your body in that way. But
Hey guys, so apparently, of course, we got cut off again. We keep trying to sort out all these technical difficulties, and of course, as we keep doing this and getting better at it, we're gonna have less and less of those. So apologize, but also should not have to apologize because that's life. And so, what Kiki was saying, and I kind of wanted to finish that thought and just kind of close it out, is that she was saying that, like, you know, just taking care of yourself is not just your physical health, it's your mental health too. And that's what this is about. We're trying to be this holistic care for you and telling you how, or trying to show you how to address all parts of your life so that you can live a more happy, fulfilled life, and to be able to figure out how to do that on your own, and like teaching your kids that, teaching your friends that, like passing these things on. So, a lot of the times we have to figure out, you know, all these different aspects of our life and how we're going to kind of try to tweak them to help our lives feel a little bit more ours, and so that's just some constant work that we have to do, that we've both been working on our mental health for a while. It's finally coming to this place where we're actually kind of figuring it out and we're getting it, and each new thing kind of like disrupts that, and you kind of have to readjust as you get to new trials and things in your life that you're having to go through. But a large part of our mental health is also doing physical health. Like when you're not feeling good, kind of continuing on with what Kiki said, when you're not feeling good in yourself, when your mental health really is sucking right now, or if it is, or when it does, like you're like clinically, when you are depressed, anxious, all these mental health disorders, a lot of them reflect on you, how you treat yourself physically. Like when you're depressed, are you getting up and you taking care of your hygiene? Probably not. I mean, I know that whenever I'm struggling and I'm stressed out and I'm overwhelmed, all those things, my house doesn't get cleaned. I don't have the motivation to do my makeup. I don't have the motivation to fix my hair. I don't, I shower maybe every other day. Like it's like it definitely is not where I would like it to be. And I definitely don't exercise during that time because I don't have enough energy to do anything else. So like, where does energy for exercising come in? So we're going to be helping you kind of address your mental health so that you can start feeling capable of taking care of your physical health, because it really is all of one, like that's why when you go to your doctor nowadays, they're asking you about your mental health, because they're realizing, science has realized that our mental health is directly linked to our physical health as well. So, when you have an ACE score, like, which is adverse childhood experience, like that scale is just kind of covers all the trauma that you could have, some of the trauma that you could have experienced when you were 18 or under, because it definitely doesn't consider all types of trauma, but it considers big traumas that could really disrupt a child's life. And so if you're interested in that, just Google ACE capital ACE, and it is just like a 10-question questionnaire, and it just kind of like, you can take that yourself and see where you're at. But having an ACE score over 4 normally increases your likelihood of physical diseases. So this could increase your heart disease rate, this could increase certain cancers, this could increase substance use when you're older. All these things are so directly aligned with our mental health, and we have to really be addressing all of it. But I understand, as someone who's been there, that like, if you're not in a place to like be able to address any of those, and you're just like not really even sure how, like those things aren't going to get taken care of. So like, this is what this, again, just continuing to define what this is for you guys and for us, is like, you know, just information, a place to come together in community, to heal both our physical and mental self, spiritually as well, you know, because Kiki will be talking a lot about that. So yeah, I guess that just kind of finishes up that, you know, and I hope you look forward to our next video. This was another session with us for some free therapy, so I hope you guys continue to enjoy this video. If you find this helpful at all, like, please subscribe, please hit like. All of those things are going to help us get this message out to people who really need it, and the more that you guys can help support, can help share, like, even that takes like no time at all, you know, just doing that can really probably make a difference for somebody. Like, we've already had somebody comment, like send us a message and just like say, hey, this is where we're at, like this is what I'm struggling with. And like, dude, I can't begin to tell you how fucking cool that is. Like, that was the first person to do that. And you know, I just like, I can't tell you enough how much I respect someone for reaching out and getting help when they need it, because even if it's not something that seems super disruptive in your life, why not try to help yourself out and do a little work on that if it's not even that big? And then you won't have to deal with that as much at all, you know? And so continue to help us share this message with people, because I can tell you right now, even if this is not where you're at, but you're just still interested in watching these videos, there's someone in this world who needs this message, who needs this advice. And so, you know, even if you're not someone who's really into this right now, or it's not very helpful for you, like, just helping, being that kindness in the world that we're trying to create and share with other people. If you can be part of that by sharing, especially if you have a bunch of followers who like really can, like, you're someone who can really hype us up, like if that's all that you feel capable of doing right now, like that's helping someone, and I promise. And that's what this world needs. We need more people who are going to help us build us up and like give us this information and give us some guidance and support and empathy. And, you know, again, if those things are what you're looking for, then send us messages. Like, we're like always available to message back, and we try to respond really quickly. You know, and it's always interesting, because the things that you guys need help with are things that are going to help us too. Like, as a therapist, I'm not the only one who grows while I'm doing therapy with somebody. They're not the only one who grows, but I also grow, is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, I told all my clients when I left my job that, like, you know, I encourage them to keep growing and to keep learning and to find this cool part of themselves and grow in it. And, you know, watching that it heals me as well. And so, you know, continuing to help each other heal is just an amazing thing, you know. And sometimes we don't feel like we have space for it, but doing what we can in what space we have is so important for this whole world to start healing and becoming where we need to be. So yeah, like I said, continue to follow us, watch our videos, let us know how you feel about them. We're looking for any feedback. We are okay with constructive criticism as well. We just want to know how to better help people, and without any information or direction to go on that, we're just basically kind of just doing this for ourselves. And, you know, again, that's what we started it for, so that's okay too. But I really want to make a difference in this world, and I know Kiki does as well. So help us do that. And thank you for listening again. Okay, I'll let you guys go. Bye.